From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello, I'm Eleanor Oldroyd and welcome to Stumped. I'm joined by Jim Maxwell for the ABC in Sydney and Charu Sharma is in Bangalore for Akashvani. Now, former New Zealand captain Stephen Fleming has been appointed as England's new Test coach, with Joe Root resuming his role as skipper. Fleming will take up his new job after next month's series against Pakistan. Brendan McCullum, who was fired following a series of poor results and several off-field incidents as well, does remain in charge of England's white ball sides. Former England coach Andy Flower ruled himself out of the running to replace McCullum, while Justin Langer says he wasn't even approached by the ECB. So, Jim, is Stephen Fleming the right man to take over as England's men's Test coach?
Who knows? England's in such a precipitous state at the moment with the appalling management out of the Ashes series when they sacked the wrong people and then lost their captain. So I hope Stephen Fleming can steady things down. He's a very accomplished and respected figure in the game of cricket through his captaincy and coaching, although he's not done any red ball cricket since his retirement. I think his relationship with McCullum, and let's face it, that's how it'll be, one with the red and one with the white ball, and they've had a lot of association in their retirement years. So hopefully they can get the best out of the players available. And as I say to my friends, just look over your shoulder. You never know. Ben Stokes is still playing cricket. Maybe he'll come back next year for the Ashes. That's got to be the story that's floating around until someone kills it off. Yeah, but I think Fleming is a good choice.
Charu, you know him. Obviously, he had a very successful career coaching Chennai Super Kings in the IPL. A good appointment from your point of view? What kind of a coach will he be for England?
Well, he's just about the most calming influence that cricket has seen in a long time. And it's quite, in that manner, perhaps an opposite to Bads. Of course, in a lighter vein, one of the memes that I read recently is that why is English cricket refusing to take wings by appointing Kiwis? But that's just an aside. Do they need a calming influence? They perhaps do, English cricket. And there's nobody who's, in terms of just demeanor and the personality, calmer and cooler and a different kind of person as Stephen. And maybe England actually need that. But it's also a question of, how much can a coach really do? As an overall culture, perhaps he can calm everybody down and in almost an opposite sense to Baz, just say, listen, this is Test cricket, take your time, as I did. Focus on the classy things and not the murderous aggression that we see in white ball cricket. Don't translate that onto red ball cricket. So, yeah, as a personality, I'm with him wherever he goes, whenever he goes. But can he have enough influence to dig England out of the hole that they've now found themselves? So that we'll have to, of course, wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Jim, you're absolutely right to say it's been a chaotic time, really, for English men's cricket. Since the end of the Ashes, since everything that happened since then, and having, in the space of 2 weeks, while cricket was going on successive Sundays, having Ben Stokes announcing his retirement from international cricket, then Brendan McCullum's sacking 2 weeks later while I was at the women's test match at Lord's, it's just felt like the wheels have been coming off and flying everywhere. And it gives me the sense that Stephen Fleming is a calming influence, potentially. There was an interview on the BBC this week with Jamie Overton, who played with him under him at Chennai, saying he's very relaxed. He's a very calming person, as you say, Charu, but he doesn't take nonsense. That he will impose a sense of discipline on the team as well, which maybe with all the talk about off-field incidents as well, they need. But I mean, he's never coached a national team. Jim, he's had his most recent career has been very much involved in white ball cricket and franchise cricket. So is that a concern at all that he's not coached a test team?
People will make out that it is, but probably not. The fact that he's continued since he stopped playing to have a relationship through, IPL white ball cricket mainly. The fact is he's had a respected position and he knows how to handle people. He's going to be a very useful mentor, and he's going to somehow have to find, particularly in the absence of Stokes, some penetrative bowlers. Because since Broad and Anderson have gone, the ranks are looking a bit thin. So, yeah, there's a job to be done.
And Charu, I suppose the question really is whether he coaches a team in his own style as a test player, because, I was just having a look at his numbers as a test captain, the most successful test captain New Zealand have ever had, 111 tests, 900s, over 7,000 test match runs at an average of around 40 and a strike rate of around 45, which feels to me a kind of old school, old fashioned, and maybe exactly what England's openers, certainly, or England's batters might need going forward.
Perhaps, it's going to be a big change from the whole Bazball end, where they were talking everything they could possibly see. But a lot of test matches are about patience. And if there was somebody who exuded patience in the crease, it was Stephen Fleming, amongst, of course, many other wonderful test match batsmen. But, the strange thing, Ellie, is that why are England continuing to look for coaches from overseas? Because they have this massive bank of players internally who played for England or who've been very studied coaches, if I can say so. They've been to coaching university and they're all there. So what is preventing England from getting a coach from their own country or their own set of players, maybe somebody recently retired or even somebody older, who would perhaps know the players and the culture a lot better and can then steer the ship in calmer waters? That's a strange one.
Yes, I wonder what you make of that, Jim, because, Justin Langer, as far as we know, wasn't approached. I know Jonathan Trott was one of the candidates who was interviewed for the job, and he's been coaching Afghanistan. So I suppose in the end it's down to the recruitment process. It's down to what they liked about Stephen Fleming in interview, or I don't know. Do you think it's a worry for English cricket that they didn't appoint an English coach?
Not really. They've had Duncan Fletcher. They've had Trevor Bayliss.
Andy Flower.
They've had Yeah, that's right. Andy Flower. He was very successful. Look, I really, in this day and age, I don't think it matters that much as to where the person comes from, as long as they can do the job. Mind you, Australia doesn't like it. They had a crack with Mickey Arthur. They haven't gone there since. So, I don't know what the answer to that is. It's a question of getting the right mix, having a bit of stability and success. If you don't have success, you're constantly under the microscope. Every time something goes wrong in sport, I think of what Lindsay Hasser said to me years ago when I asked him about captaincy. He said, "Captaincy? No one notices the captain until you start losing." Right? And when that happens, you're in trouble. That's why Australian women's cricket is so strong. It doesn't matter what's going on in terms of relationships or whatever else around the team. If they're winning, you can't have a crack at them, really, can you?
Well, that's a good one, Jim, but it also is relevant for the coaches. They start losing, people say, what kind of coach is that? But as long as you're winning, nobody really bothers. But Ellie, will it help Stephen Fleming? The fact that he actually played for Middlesex and also Yorkshire, Nottinghamshire, he played there, had a few spells, so he would know English conditions, English people, English culture a lot more than we suggest. Will that help?
Yeah, I think it's got to help the fact that he knows how the county system works, and and there was this spell, wasn't there, in the early stages of Bazball, which I think we can now put to bed. Jim, you'll be very happy to hear that maybe we never have to say the words Bazball ever again. But there was this rejection of the
T-shirt. I've still got my T-shirt, and I'm not allowed to say it on the BBC because they're a bit prudish about it, but I'll show you the T-shirt again if you don't remember it when I come to England next year.
Look forward to that. Yes, but I think going back to the county system, and I think there was this almost kind of sense, we don't need to look at the county system. It's too different from what we want from our test team. And then at the start of this year, there has been a noticeable return to that. This recognition that runs in and wickets in county cricket are valuable, even if county cricket has been pushed to the either end of the season. But they did look at that in April, and people like Emilio Gay, who came in was a result of early season runs against Durham. So I think Stephen Fleming will have respect for the county system, will be happy to take advice from coaches around the country. And I think that's the other thing, is having coaches in place that are respected, that he will talk to, and I hope that will be something that that he will bring to this situation, that whenever he takes over, that's something that he will be looking beyond a fixed idea of picking players on vibes, which was this sense that we had sometimes, that it was keeping faith with players who maybe are not proving it because we like the look of them. I wonder whether you think, Charu, that Test cricket obviously has been is still the thing that's closest to our hearts, I think, but whether actually this could mean a new era for English Test cricket, that because there are still good players. It's a bit of a state of flux that they're in, but certainly on the batting side, I mean, Jim said the bowling is thin, but the batting side is still strong, and to have somebody who will really bring the best out of the talented players that England have.
Well, if you mean a new era as in a new successful era, why not? Because, I mean, at no stage can we suggest that the game is not in good hands in England. It's still very robust. They're getting a reasonable amount of commercial support. There's a lot of media support as well. And I have no doubt that a lot of youngsters are taking to the game, or continuing to take the game. The school system's still in fine shape, so a lot of talent should be bursting through. Teams strangely go through these little dips, every once in a while. This may be a longer dip than normal, but it's also been accompanied with a lot more media attention for different reasons, not just for not doing well. And I think if that goes away after a couple of victories, people will just focus on the game. And this whole business of who next when a major player steps away is always answered in international cricket. Somebody new comes up, or a whole set of new players, and they hopefully will do well, if not immediately, not bursting on the scene, then gradually with a little bit of experience overseas. I think the critical thing for England is to do well overseas, because in English conditions, they are likely to do well in the future. Can they pick themselves up? Because in the past, I've seen that, I'm not suggesting, it's a difficult word, but they almost look bored, when they go to other nations. I think they need to show more enthusiasm when they play cricket overseas. And if that happens with Stephen Fleming or with a new set of players, then surely England can be a big force once again, 100%.
Well, finally on Stumped, the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow end this weekend, and it's been a spectacular coming together for the friendly games in Scotland. The baton will now pass to the Indian city of Ahmedabad to host the Games in 2030, which will be the Centenary Games. Now, there's been no cricket played in Glasgow, but it is under consideration as one of a number of sports that will feature in 4 years' time. Jim, I was in Birmingham for the Commonwealth Games 4 years ago when cricket for women, T20 cricket for women, made its first appearance. We've seen a 50-over competition for men before in the past, but would you like to see it return to India in 2030?
In 1998, when South Africa beat Australia, it was meaningful. Those players in men's competition, they wanted to win a gold medal. I'm not sure whether that's the case anymore, to be honest. I mean, it's a Commonwealth game. It's played everywhere in Commonwealth countries. What difference is it going to make? Is it going to, like the Olympics, make a difference to the value of television rights? I'm not so sure. So I'm not too sure where it fits. But it adds to the flavour of it all, doesn't it? But there may be other sports that are more important to have involved in the Commonwealth Games. If the Commonwealth Games is to sustain itself as a worthwhile, a meaningful event, which is a question in itself.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's a question that I've been working on the Games this week, and we've asked quite a lot, Charu, whether it is sustainable moving forwards. But you'd have thought for India in 2030, they're going to want to put on a great show. And, if you think about sport in India, then cricket, you can't leave it out, surely.
Well, surely not. I think it'd be a matter of great pride for India to, one, of course, host the Commonwealth Games again, the centenary edition of 2030. They last did so in 2010, and that was a massive success. More so because of the bursting forth of talent in India, because they had a fabulous medal tally back in 2010. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hard work to try and up that medals tally and just the national pride of hosting a major event. Now, as you mentioned, and Jim, the whole relevance of the Commonwealth Games, well, it's there. And there's no harm trying to continue what is a fabulous sporting tradition, because a lot of other sports, maybe not cricket because of its commercial ways, a lot of other sports do thrive on an international medal or the possibility of international participation. And there are precious few such major multi-sports extravaganzas. So for the health of sport globally, I think the Commonwealth Games play a very important role, even though they're restricted, of course, to Commonwealth nations. But I think which is why India's paying a lot of attention to it. I think there's been a lot of concern about some of the sports being dropped. And for Glasgow, one can understand that it was a sort of a pickup thing, because Australia couldn't or didn't want to host it. So it's a truncated version. But I have full confidence that in 2030, India is going to put up a massive show. Number of sports, the whole coming together of the Commonwealth sporting population. And of course, cricket should be and will be, because of its state in India, its religious state in India, to be a part of it for sure, Ellie.
And I suppose the point, Charu, as well, is that, India and Pakistan, every opportunity that we get to see an India-Pakistan fixture, the broadcasters are going to want that, if nothing else.
Well, it's still 4 years from when we speak now, but so who alone knows how the dynamics between the two nations change by then, because for the moment, of course, they're not playing in India. India not playing in Pakistan. Are they going to play the India-Pakistan match in Dubai or somewhere? I mean, that's inconceivable. So we'll see what happens.
Play in England.
Well, that too. But for both the women's and the men's competition, it'll be good to have cricket at the Commonwealth Games. And you mentioned India-Pakistan. Of course, there are lots of other very good cricket-playing nations in the Commonwealth. But maybe it's a big one for the other nations, also a part of the Commonwealth, who don't get to do much winning. And if it so happens, I don't know, if the international schedule dictates the fact that, as happened in 1998 too, I remember that India, Australia, England are playing elsewhere and then send what is their next team, shouldn't call it B, then maybe there's scope for a development team for other nations to do well. Because let's not only see it from the perspective of the better nations. I think the lower ranked nations, I'm sure, would love to be a part of a major sporting extravaganza to show that their cricket is also going places. And sometimes when you play the Olympic Games or Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, there's also extra funding that comes in from the government and elsewhere, and extra sponsorship. So all these other aspects probably lend to the fact that the more sports you can fit in, the better for the sports persons involved. Of course, it's a nightmare for the organizing committee, but we'll see. And also, it's normally a summer games, the Commonwealth Games. And in Ahmedabad or elsewhere in India, they've got to be very careful about the rain, because, I mean, some sports tend not to get affected. With cricket, as we know, 3 drops and the match is off. So there's a little bit of consideration for the timing as well.
Well, that's it for Stumped for this week. Don't forget to join us again next time. My thanks to Jim Maxwell and to Charu Sharma. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Until next time, bye for now.